Hi everyone. Today we are going to use a PGAdmin to access that PostgreSQL database. So PGAdmin is a famous tool to access that database, which is officially supported by the PostgreSQL. So when we open that PGAdmin, then first we need to register that server. So when we right click on that registered server, then we need to give that server name and that connection string like host name, like a local host, port, whatever the post is hosted on that, and that database name, username and password, and then we need to save that. So in my case, I register that server like here you can see there is a property Docker Postgres connection, localhost, port and username Airflow, database name is also Airflow. Okay, so first we need to create the database. I create database and need to give that database name and select that what the user should be associated. So there is two users, Airflow and Postgres. So we can select anyone. And this is all about, and when we save that, it will create like test database, change that owner. Okay, so here you can see there is test database created. Okay, and when we create the database, there is a schema. So there is many things, even trigger, all the things are different. But first we need to understand that schema, and inside that schema there is one schema which is public. By default public schema is created, and inside the public schema first we need to see that how we can create the table, which is a main agenda to learn about that PostgreSQL database. Okay, so let's see how we can use that. So first we need to select the database, then there is our schema. Okay, so I already saved that one file. I just need to open that test student. Okay, so here you can see first we need to create the database, and then we need to create one schema. Like that you can create, and there is a schema test. So if we create again, it will raise error because a schema test already exists in that my database. So here you can see my database, Airflow is username, and that Docker Postgres is a database server name, and there is a, so let's drop first let's drop that all the okay, so first we need to drop that, delete that table, and then schema. So here you can see a schema is deleted, and now that schema should be generated, and inside that schema like we can create a table. So create table name. So there is a schema name dot table name, ID, serial, primary key. So ID is a column, serial is a column type, and there is a constraint. We will understand primary key in future slides. There is a full name, which is a column name, and that what the type we are going to define for that column, which is a varchar, which store a string, and that string is up to the 50 maximum characters, is integer. So for the integer we do not need to provide any maximum character length. Grade varchar 10. So a varchar is also a string, so we just need to give that. Okay, so like that we can insert the data, insert into table name. So test.student. So we always need to specify the schema and we writing that table name. So it is associated that in some other database they don't have a schema feature, so we can directly define that table name, and we just need to give that order of that column. So when we create that table, there is a ID, full name is grade. So here you can see when we create that table, so that table should be exist here. So there is a 4 column, ID, full name is grade. So that is the same column name. So for that column, there you can see there is no any data. So to check the data inside the table, there is no record. So when we insert that record, like by giving that values associated to that column name. So full name associated with the first value, age is
76%.
So age is associated with 20, and age is associated with the grade. So like that we can insert the data. So first we check while inserting the data. So it's inserted, and let's check that. Okay, so first value is, and we can also select like that, but we need to specify that schema because let's check in default schema, which is a public schema. Here you can see, so we can provide that column name. Okay, so first we need to insert all the record. So it's inserted only one record in one statement in one go. It is inserted all the 3 records. So here you can see there is a 4 records, and we can see the data using that, and we can select whatever the required column. Or if we do we need a grade first column and age only, then we can so this is a example of how we can select the data from the tables. Okay, so like that we can do. Or when we created some tables and we need to check or just want to create some script of that table, so create a script is generated. So when we generate the table, so here you can see and there is a full description of that table. So if not exist, then it's only creates, and the age, grade, constant is student primary key. So here you can see that constant is defined as a student primary key, and it's associated with the Airflow users. Alter table if exist test.student on, so it transferring that owner to the Airflow when we creating the tables. It's so these statement will be trigger when we perform that query.